Hello, Tristan Andrew, back again on our discussion of Hector Berlioz and his take on Faust. Previously, we have covered his Symphonie Fantastique, and here we will cover his Damnation of Faust. Let me show you. In our own time, Berlioz has been recognized as a seminal composer whose vision did much to shape music in the Romantic era. In 1999, the composer and critic Bayan Northcott wrote, "Berlioz still seems so immediate, so controversial, so ever new." As composer and music historian Howard Goodall noted in his Story of Music series, it's hard to find a piece of music written between 1850 and 1900 that isn't about death and or destiny, thanks to a piece of music written by this deluded, brilliant, emotionally unstable French composer in 1829. Hector Berlioz was a kind of a cross between Beethoven and Lord Byron, and we have covered his groundbreaking piece, Symphonie Fantastique, in another presentation. Although Berlioz himself did not credit the legend of Faust for his Symphonie Fantastique, he was certainly familiar with it, and many see in the symphony definite references to the intellectual who sells his soul to the devil in return for both knowledge and earthly pleasure. This time we will look at Berlioz's more explicit return to the Faust legend, his opera/oratorio, The Damnation of Faust. According to legend, Faust is highly successful, yet dissatisfied with his life, which leads him to make a pact with the devil at the crossroads, exchanging his soul for unlimited knowledge and worldly pleasures. The Faust legend has been the basis for many literary, artistic, cinematic, and musical works that have reinterpreted it through the ages. Faust and the adjective Faustian imply sacrificing spiritual values for power, knowledge, or material gain. In Goethe's reworking of the story, the demon Mephistopheles helps Faust seduce a beautiful and innocent girl, usually named Gretchen, whose life is ultimately destroyed when she gives birth to Faust's bastard son. Realizing this unholy act, she drowns the child and is held for murder. However, Gretchen's innocence saves her in the end, and she enters heaven after execution. The trade-off of soul for creative gifts and earthly pleasure has been a handy metaphor for artists dealing with shifting public tastes. 16 years after the spectacular success of Symphonie Fantastique, Berlioz returned to the Faust legend with his 1846 The Damnation of Faust, Opus 24. A work for 4 solo voices, 4 full 7-part choruses, and large children's chorus and orchestra. Segments are often played today in concert format. Berlioz composed it at a moment when France still looked at Germany through benevolent cultural spectacles. While somewhat cautious concerning German cultural life, Berlioz praised the seriousness of its musical practices and was a warm supporter of convergence between France and Germany. He took an interest in Richard Wagner's music, while the latter, in turn, profited from Berlioz's orchestral innovations. Wagner's father-in-law, the highly influential composer Franz Liszt, having himself been inspired by the Faust subject, encouraged Berlioz to write The Damnation of Faust. The work is dedicated to him. Berlioz conceived this work at various times as a free-form oratorio and as an opera, ultimately calling it a légende dramatique. Its travelogue form and cosmic perspective have made it an extreme challenge to stage as an opera. Berlioz himself was eager to see the work staged, but once he did, he conceded that production techniques of his time were not up to the task of bringing the work to dramatic life. Most of the work's fame has come through concert performances. The Damnation of Faust did not achieve success in France until it was staged as an opera long after Berlioz's death. Within a year of Raoul Gunsbourg's production of the piece at Monte Carlo in 1893, the work was presented as an opera in Italy, Germany, Britain, Russia, and the US. The many elements of the work vary from the robust Hungarian march near the beginning to the delicate Dance of the Sylphs, the frenetic Ride to the Abyss, Mephisto's suave and seductive Song of the Devil, and Brander's Song of a Rat, a requiem for a dead rodent. The three instrumental passages, Hungarian March, Ballet of the Sylphs, and Minuet of the Will-o'-the-Wisps, are sometimes extracted and performed as three orchestral pieces from The Damnation of Faust. It is these works that we will cover here. The Hungarian March is based on a Hungarian national theme. The electrifying effect of the first performance in Budapest incited Berlioz to include it in The Damnation of Faust. Berlioz treated the march as a drama all in itself, beginning with an assuming, though a commanding, march tune. All that changes over the course of the piece, which builds to a tremendous climax. The relaxed scene ballet of the sylphs provides a foil to the more haunting and ominous aspects of the drama. At the same time, by causing the hero to dream about the object of his erotic desires, the music pushes forward the theme of doomed love. The Minuet of the Will-o'-the-Wisps from Part 3 is a masterpiece of musical irony and of orchestral wizardry. Berlioz uses a dance form obsolete in his own day and turns it into a sardonic parody. After a seemingly normal start, the music wanders off in strange and unexpected directions, stops and starts again, flares up, and subsides abruptly. Strange accidentals disfigure the original theme. Then, just as the music seems about to lull itself to sleep, piccolos, flute, and oboes launch at breakneck speed into a reckless anticipation of Mephisto's serenade. The minuet tries to reassert itself, but is brushed aside, and the piece fizzles out in an enigmatic violin trill. Damnation of Faust is performed regularly in concert halls since its first successful complete performance in concert in Paris in 1877. Berlioz himself found the hero contemptible in his abandonment of the village girl he has, with Mephisto's help, seduced. The startlingly vivid non-Goethean cinematic ride to the abyss, impossible to stage in Berlioz's day and awkward in ours, is capped by Faust's screaming plunge into hell as the soul of his lover, Margarita, or Gretchen, is welcomed by a choir of angels. The noted conductor, Colin Davis, is among Berlioz's many fans, as his approach to Damnation of Faust demonstrates. He whipped up Hungarian marches, student songs, and peasant rounds as enthusiastically as he did the shimmering string effects and jagged assaults of the brass. He convinced us that this stop-and-start narrative, in which Faust never advances far into the realms of the sublime without being interrupted by some form of street music, came out of a dramatic, keenly ironic sensibility. The story of Faust, the tormented, suicidal philosopher who suddenly seeks the meaning of life in life itself, not only in love but in the immense solitude of nature, struck a chord, so to speak, with the Romantic generation. As noted by music historian Adrian Coriolanus, the Faust story would prove inspirational for other composers. It was Liszt and Berlioz had spoken. It was what Liszt and Berlioz had spoken of at their first meeting on the eve of the Symphonie Fantastique's premiere in December 1830. Liszt, whose own greatest symphonic work, Faust Symphony, would follow in 1854. The list of other musical works, like Gounod's Faust, is too long to include here. Berlioz himself would move beyond the legend he himself did so much to popularize. While by far the most recorded of Berlioz's works is the Symphonie Fantastique, international record catalogs list recordings of other major works. Symphonie Funèbre et Triomphale, Harold in Italy, Summer Nights, Romeo and Juliet, his Requiem and Te Deum, the Trojans, and various overtures. We have to say we are grateful to Berlioz's contributions to the 19th century's death and destiny craze, and how it produced so much wonderful music we could add to our Halloween playlist. So ends our discussion on Berlioz and Faust. I hope you have enjoyed both works and can appreciate the influence of Berlioz on the musical craze of all things dark. Be sure to subscribe and leave your comments below. Thanks for watching and keep listening.